Good afternoon. This is Debbie Henderson from Debbie's Designs. Welcome to my weekly tea time. So you guys, I'm doing another watercolor technique. Today I'm going to be using the Changing Leaves bundle. You can see that we have some pretty leaves, some pretty die cuts. There's also an embossing folder that I don't have right in my case here, but you can emboss and cut. It's a hybrid set. But I'm not going to be using any dies today. I'm just going to be using the large leaf. And I'm so glad that I just saw Mary Ellsbury is here with us. So you guys know on our Facebook group, Mary kind of takes care of our Random Act of Kindness Birthday Club. She sent me a beautiful card a couple weeks ago, and I really liked it so much that I'm going to replicate it today. So this is the card she sent me. It's a white embossed leaf, and then you watercolor around it with a water painter, and the embossing will resist. So thanks, Mary, for this beautiful card. I'm going to use the same colors. I just added a few more layers to it. So let me show you what I'm using. Versamark ink. For colors, I've got a Shy Shamrock, Coastal Cabana, and Lemon Lime Twist. I've got white embossing powder. And for my layers, and I'll show you the card that I made. For my layers, Shy Shamrock, 11 by 4 1/4, scored at 5 1/2. Lemon Lime Twist, 5 1/4 by 4. And then I have another little piece here that is 1/2 inch wide by 2 3/4. Oh, you're welcome, Mary. I'm so glad that you're happy that I'm replicating your card. I tend to do that once in a while when I see a card that I really like. This is the one I made. So you can see I added a few more layers to it. I'm using watercolor paper that is 4 3/4 by 3 1/2. So let me put both cards right here. I'm just going to prepare my card base. So that's at the 5 1/2 inch score line. I'm going to go ahead and glue the Lemon Lime Twist. And you guys, I'm going to make you laugh because I'm going to be doing, I think, 4 weeks of watercoloring. I'm using the same paper towel. This is from last week. I had time to get it dry. Just left it on my counter. I'm going to use the same one because it's going to be messy anyway. Okay, so I've got those 2 layers. We'll keep this for later. Now I am going to move these just so I don't get any ink on them. Bring in my paper towel. And first I got a stamp though. Let me see. I'm going to bring a pad of paper in just so I can get that cushion. And we're going to use Versamark first, but I'm going to do the embossing buddy. If you've never used an embossing buddy, it takes out the static and any fingerprints you might have on your cardstock so the embossing powder doesn't stick to it. Okay, because this is a very large stamp, I'm going to ink it facing up. This is Versamark ink, which you won't be able to see it when I stamp it. But once I do the embossing powder and I heat it, I'm just going to stay on there just for a minute because it's watercolor paper. It's bumpy. I want that to absorb the ink. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. It's a clear ink. So now I'm going to do the white embossing powder. I like having all of my embossing powder in containers so everything just falls right back in. Now you can see what my leaf looks like. I'm going to make a little bit of noise with my heat tool. I'm going to melt down the powder. And all I'm going to do is outline the leaf with 3 different ink colors. Okay, you can start to see that is melting. It's turning bright white. how shiny that is. Okay, it's really going now because it's nice and hot. It takes a minute for the heat tool to really heat up, and then once it starts melting, it goes pretty fast. Okay, one more leaf. And then what I normally do is hold it up to the light, make sure everything is nice and shiny and melted. Now we're going to color. I'm going to use the ink pad, so you know that by using the ink pads, what you do is you squeeze the middle with the palms of your hands to get the ink inside the lid. I'm going to get all three colors ready. And this is such a quick card. Whoops, let me do a little bit more on that one. I didn't eat my Cheerios this morning. Okay, there we go. And here's my last one. And I'm going to start, let me bring this in so you can see both cards again. Make sure they're showing on the camera. So I'm going to start with my lightest color, which is the Lemon Lime Twist. I'm just going to squeeze to add a little bit of water. And then you're going to outline. So I'm just going to outline like the tips and inside the leaf. Just going to color inside the leaves as well. We're going to do all 5 leaves. So you're just outlining the outside of each leaf and on the inside. And try not to move your paper too much because you want that to dry as you're painting it on. You don't want it to end up dripping off to one side. Okay, there's the first color. Now I'm going to squeeze this to change my ink color. So we're done with this one. Next is Coastal Cabana. Again, I'm going to add a little bit of water. And this time I'm going to do like the middle of the leaf. And then make them join. And then sometimes when they join, you join the 2 colors, you make another color out of it also. I'm going to show you. See this top leaf right here where they blended together? It kind of gives it a nice color. Okay, one more. And again. Oh, you know what I should have done? Hold on a minute. I forgot to do the stem. I'm going to add a little bit of the Lemon Lime Twist down here on the stem. Just going to go around the end. Same thing with Coastal Cabana. And then let me rinse my brush again. We're going to do the third color, which is Shy Shamrock. Add some water. And then we're going to finish that off. It's just a tad bit darker than the Coastal Cabana. But this is so relaxing, and you can actually drag your paintbrush so that it blends into that color right before it. Okay, so let me go in here. I can see that I forgot to add the Coastal Cabana to a couple of my leaves. Don't forget the stem in the middle. Okay, I'm going to bring the Coastal Cabana back in. I forgot a couple of my leaves in the center. Go right here. Right here. I'm just talking too much is all. Okay, so look how pretty that is. Now I'm quickly going to add just a little bit of heat so I can melt, or not melt, dry that ink on the leaves. I'm not going to hold it too close, so I don't want it to travel. Okay, so I'm mostly drying the outside of the leaves. And then I just had to grab a tissue. I'm just going to grab a tissue and wipe those leaves. I can see another spot that I missed. See how that wipes right off on the white? I just got a little tiny spot that I missed. I can see right here. Okay, let me double check. I think I got them all. Now, I'm going to bring Mary's card really close. Look at the background. She's got tiny, tiny little black dots. Mine came out a little bit bigger than hers. Maybe we did it differently. What I did is used just a lid from one of our embellishment containers. I'm just going to add some water, squeeze water in there. I'm using Memento ink. I'm just going to add one small dot. Okay, there's my black. Now I need to move everything because this does make a mess. If you don't like messy, you might want to skip this step. So I'm just going to stir this around, keep that on the tip. I'm going to use my finger and I'm just going to tap. You can see, I think I had a lot of liquid on my first card. That's why my dots were so big. Okay, that's all I'm going to do. So next week when you see my paper towel, it's going to be full of black dots. Okay, so there's that. Now, what did I do with my cards right here? I'm going to go ahead and stamp this sentiment on this little piece here. And I'm going to use the Shy Shamrock color. And this one says a little note to brighten your day. Okay, I got to stand up. I'm going to use my paper snips to cut this at an angle. And then I'm going to glue that to my layer. Now this, let me just dry this one more time before I flip it over. Okay, now I'm going to use our foam adhesive sheets. Put that on the back. And peel that. It just straightens out the cardstock, the watercolor paper. And there's my card for today. Look how quick that was. So you guys, when you pick an image to do this, try to find something that has open spaces in the leaves so you can add color to the leaves or whatever stamp image that you use. But isn't that neat? And they all come out differently each time, depending on how much color you use of each one. So I hope you guys will give this a try. It's really fun. And thanks to Mary for the beautiful card. And I will have another watercolor technique for you next time. Thanks for joining me, everyone. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.